welcome to this week's video. Now this week I've decided to do a video after I saw Shania Twain's performance at Glastonbury. Now what prompted this was the fact that I've heard several people criticising her performance. People saying she can't sing anymore, she's dropped the keys, she's done this, she's done that. And it made me think that I did a few videos about Don Henley maybe or miming on his latest tour when I saw him at the Carp Arena in Manchester. Check out the video here, there's several of them actually, and they were very popular videos. And a lot of the comments I got from that was saying that Don should have adapted the songs to suit his voice if he can't hit the high notes anymore, rather than miming. And that is exactly what Shania Twain has done. But it seems that people have a much more negative reaction to people adapting the songs to suit their changing voice than they do to people miming. So Don Henley, he could change the songs instead of miming. He could drop the keys. And if you go and look on YouTube, there's a clip of him on Howard Stern. I think it's probably about maybe 15 years ago. And he sings Desperado, which he drops a tone. Let me show you what that sounds like. So on the record, he's... I can't sing too much because I get a copyright strike from Don. And it means that the high note is... Don't you need that? So instead, he's doing it in this key. Which means the highest note is, which is a far more easy note to sing consistently, and he does it and it sounds fantastic on that. And the other song he does on that performance is Boys of Summer, and he says we're going to do a laid back acoustic version. Now the original of that song is ridiculously high. I've never heard anybody sing it properly apart from Don Henley, because it's so high, particularly the chorus, and the original key is E flat minor. And there's a good story I heard about this, that he recorded the whole thing and then someone came in and said, but Don, the girls love it when you sing high, so they had to re-record the entire track. Apparently they used a real old school way of speeding up and slowing down the tape to establish which is the highest key you could do it in, and it turned out to be E flat minor, which is this. And it means that the chorus goes, which is a B flat, which is really high. So on this version on the Howard Stern show, he drops it to A minor, which is the key I would do it in if I was singing it, which means it makes the chorus, which is far more manageable. That makes it an E. Right, going back to Shania Twain, I'm going to look at 3 of the songs that she did on here, because in the 90s she was kind of the only crossover country star that made it in the UK. I mean, I remember there was Faith Hill had a song that had the word centrifugal in it, which I thought was a very good lyric, and that was one of the only other songs, sort of country songs I remember from around the time. But Shania Twain had the album with It Don't Impress Me Much, You're Still the One, Man I Feel Like a Woman, all off the same album. The album was Come On Over from 1997. It ended up being the biggest selling female country album of all time, and it was produced and written by her and Mutt Lange, who was her husband at the time. Now if you don't know who Mutt Lange is, he was the person responsible for AC/DC, Back in Black. He produced Def Leppard, Celine Dion. I mean, he's one of the greatest rock producers of all time. There's another interesting bit of trivia here. Apparently it's Bruce Boughton on pedal steel. He's got a instructional DVD which I bought because I play a bit of pedal steel, not like he can. And I read an interview with Bruce Boughton saying how did he feel about the fact that the UK release of the album, they completely took all the pedal steel off to make it kind of more UK friendly. I guess they thought the people in the UK couldn't handle the sound of a pedal steel. I mean, these days country music's much more popular in the UK, but back in the 90s, as I say, Shania Twain was about the only country artist you'd ever heard of. People like Garth Brooks, all those huge artists, nobody actually even knew their name in this country, which is very bizarre. So Shania's voice has changed apparently because she contracted Lyme disease. Now Lyme disease is a tick-borne disease, and it's very common in North America. You do get it in the UK as well. And, I like this bit of trivia, it's called Lyme disease because it's named after Lyme in Connecticut, where it was first kind of identified as a disease, which is in the northeast of America. And one of the things that Lyme disease can do, it can affect the nerves that control your vocal cords, so people can completely lose their voices. And that's what happened to Shania Twain. She had to kind of, I think, relearn to sing, but it affected, she's lost all the top end of her range, so she basically can't sing like she used to sing, and she's had to adapt all the songs in her set. So this is what people were saying that Don Henley should be doing. And the other person who did that, this is the Legends set at Glastonbury, it's the Sunday afternoon, it's the same one that Dolly Parton did a few years ago, and Dolly Parton was miming on that as well. There's loads of stuff. Look it up on YouTube. They've matched up the vocal track from many years of her performances, and they're all identical. And I thought I spotted it when she was on. I saw her voice. She missed one word and looked a bit shocked, but she was miming that whole set. So at least Shania was actually singing, and I thought she looked great and it was entertaining. So let's have a little bit of this footage first of Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Now I can't put the BBC footage up, which is the proper coverage, because if you put that up your video won't show. So this is a bit of fan footage. Now I've never been to Glastonbury, and looking at this, I'm never going to go. This person is so far back from the stage, there's smoke and everything going off in front of the stage. You can't see, you can just about see the screens. I mean, this doesn't look like fun to me, being in a massive field and the artist is so far away you can't see them. But anyway, just a little clip just so you can hear what it sounds like. Now this is in the original key. So the original key of this song is B flat, and she sings in the verse. She sings the whole of the verse. It's quite low. She's singing all of that bit. So the next part, the best thing about being a woman, it goes to. She sings a low harmony. She's singing that while the backing vocalist is singing the tune. And I think that's a pretty clever way of doing it. She can't hit those notes. It sounds pretty good, and she's performing it. It's great. I think it works anyway. In the chorus, she also doesn't sing it. So that's really high. And Shania, she's singing a much lower part. So again, she's singing it down there. The backing vocalists are covering the melody. I think it works. I think it sounds pretty good, actually. And if you want someone to adapt the song, she's done it. There we go. Now the next one, I really like this song. I used to have to play this song a lot in functions back in the sort of 90s. It's You're Still the One, which her and Mutt wrote. Well, they wrote the whole album. But so the original key, it's in E flat. So it's. She's dropped it to C on Glastonbury. Let's have a little look at this. Just a short clip, but she's playing it, sitting with acoustic guitar playing it. Now I have to say, this one, she does struggle to sing it. I'd rather hearing her sing it. I'm not sure this is to do with range. It sounds like a sort of confidence thing. She doesn't have that nice mellowness, but like when the bits that she is singing the tune on Man, I Feel Like a Woman, she still has brilliant intonation. I mean, she's a brilliant singer. I mean, that's what makes it even sadder that she's lost all that register. But anyway, on this one, basically she does the whole song and it's just dropped down, right down there. I'd still rather she sung it, I guess. Doesn't sound as good as the other two because she hasn't got people covering it. She hasn't done clever things. She just dropped the key. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. So the next one is You Don't Impress Me Much, which is in. Now again on this one she sings the verse because it's pretty low. The next section, that's all the backing vocalists. She doesn't even pretend to sing on anything on this one. She kind of lets them do it, and it works. So in the chorus, the backing vocalists are taking the hook of the song, and she sings the. Got the look. She just fills in the little bits in between and lets the backing singers sing the high bits. And again, I think it works. I think it sounds all right. If that's what you want a singer who can no longer sing it the way they did it on the record. They adapt it. They make it work for them live and still perform it. Seems to work for me. But as I say, she's had all these criticisms for it, which is very peculiar. So not one of the comments that I had about my Eagles videos said anything about the Eagles not being any good, because they sounded perfect. And they sounded perfect because on a few tracks, I'm still not going to say which ones because I don't know for certain, I only know they definitely mimed Desperado, that it sounded perfect. Maybe they had assistance, maybe they didn't. Now Shania Twain, I'm sure they were playing along with a click. I'm sure there was probably some production on the track. I don't know this, but listening to it, some of it sounds really like the record. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I suspect there were little bits of production. But, you know, they had backing vocalists, they had musicians, there's lots of stuff being played over the track, and it sounded great. And it kind of makes me realise that in society today, where we're so used to things being photoshopped, so everything looks perfect, everything sounds perfect. So an example, with every record that you'll hear these days, the vocal has been auto-tuned. Well, whether it's auto-tune or another bit of software, but it's been pitch corrected. And one time I really noticed this, I went to the C2C festival and I saw Chris Young, and we watched his set, and he was fantastic. It's fantastic singing, great intonation, his pitch was absolutely brilliant. Got in the car to drive home, and I put the album on, and it sounded really different, his vocal, and it made me realise it's the first time I really realised, even though I'd used it a lot and I knew this, but a tuned pitched vocal has a certain sound to it. The timbre slightly changes when it's been pitch corrected, even if it's done really subtly. I mean, sometimes it's used in effect, but in country music it'll be used all over the place with these fantastic singers who probably don't really need it, but they do it, and it gives it a particular sound. It's because our ears have become so accustomed to everything being perfect, the same way our eyes have become accustomed to seeing things photoshopped and looking perfect, that now we expect it, and if it's not there, things stick out a mile, even if there's a tiny little bit of imperfection in pitch, which we never used to have before these bits of software enabled that. So there we are, let me know what you think. Do you agree with me that adapting the songs like Shania's done is probably a better way of doing things if you like to hear the artist as they are now? And, you know, it makes it a different thing, doesn't it? It makes it more enjoyable. Or, like lots of people have commented on the my Eagles videos, do you prefer to hear perfection, whether it be achieved with a little bit of help via backing tracks, etc., etc., or do you want to hear it warts and all? Let me know. I mean, I'm still not certain what I'd rather have done. Would I have rather have heard Don Henley singing the songs pitched down? I mean, you watch the Howard Stern show, it still sounds great. I love Don Henley's voice, whether he's dropping the key or not. So I probably would have rather heard that, but maybe he can't do that anymore anyway. So, hope you enjoyed the video. I bring new videos out every Friday, 7 PM UK time. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about what I've said in this video, and I'll hopefully see you next week. Feel the attraction, color my head to an idea. Wanna go free now to feel the way I feel. Man, I feel like a woman. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done, Tom.
Man, I feel like a woman after singing that one.